So we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. This is the reality of working from home. So we're with Katrina Stevens, who's Oldham's Director of Public Health, and we're going to dive straight into your questions. And we're starting with Richard Parker. And he says, are you going to release postcode data so people can avoid areas? And are you going to target these areas?
Okay, so I think thanks for that question, Richard. I think one of the things that's important to say to start that we are seeing new cases in all areas of Oldham. So right from Failsworth up to Crompton, from the south to the north of the borough, we are seeing new cases everywhere. There are some areas where we are seeing higher numbers than others. So certainly around the central district, that's where we're seeing a concentration of cases. We are publishing a weekly coronavirus dashboard on the council website, and that includes a link to data which isn't quite at exact postcode level, but is at something called middle super output area level. So that's lower than ward level, and with that website you can put in your postcode and see what the number of cases looks like in the area where you live. I think also I'd say it's the message I'd like to give to people really is we all need to be on our guard in terms of taking measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus and to prevent us catching it wherever we are. There are cases in all parts of the country, and we know that this is a virus that transmits really easily, and that some people can be carrying it and not have symptoms, and people can be transmitting the virus before they develop symptoms. So, the precautions that we're asking people to take in terms of making sure they socially distance, not hugging people, not handshaking with people who aren't part of your household or your bubble, and making sure you wash your hands regularly, that you clean surfaces in places of work or in the home, and that you wear a face mask if you're in a public space, a public building like on public transport or in shops. Those measures are really important wherever you are, not just in particular areas.
Okay, great, thanks. And so we're moving on to a question from Tom Noakes, and he asks, will holiday camps childcare provision be affected by the new measures? And I think that also leads on to a question someone else asked about whether they would have to cancel holidays if they've already booked them.
Okay, so for the measures that we announced for Oldham yesterday, no, holidays, holiday camps, childcare aren't affected by those measures. What we said yesterday was that we were asking people not to have social visitors to their house or to make social visits to other people's houses. And the reason we've asked that is because we know that transmission seems to be occurring within household groups and between family members. So what we aren't seeing so much is cases and transmission occurring in settings that are more sort of public settings where social distancing measures are in place, and that where those measures are in place and are more easily enforced. So no, what we announced yesterday doesn't make any change in terms of holiday camps and childcare provision. But what I would urge everyone who's running a business or providing services to the public to do is really make sure that you have done your risk assessment and that you are operating in line with the national guidance.
Okay, great. So Cassie Platt wants to know which areas of Oldham and whether, and a few people have also asked if you could give particular hotspots and should people be avoiding these areas?
So no, we're not saying to people to avoid particular areas. As I said, people need to take appropriate precautions to prevent the spread of infection wherever they are. We are seeing cases in every area. There are higher rates of cases, particularly in the central area. So the areas around the town centre is where we're seeing high numbers of cases. But I think I'd also point out in association with that our testing sites to date have been concentrated in the centre of the borough as well. So that higher rate of cases there could be related to higher rates of testing in those areas as well. So, because it may be that we haven't picked up cases in other areas due to testing availability. So yeah, so it's definitely more concentrated in the central areas, but the risk isn't zero elsewhere.